Hare Hare. Continue reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 20, Text 16. Vakam chamatkan chanamanavendra
Vanam chamatkanchanaman indra
Praneshvate aham gunashila yantritaha
Rane Shivav Aham Gunashila Yantritaha
Naham makhirvai sulabhas tapobhir
Na Aham Makheve Sulabho Tapobhi
Yogena vayat samachittavarti.
Yoge Navayat Samachetavarte.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. My dear King, I am very captivated by your elevated qualities and excellent behavior, and thus I am very favorably inclined toward you. You may therefore ask from me any benediction you like. One who does not possess elevated qualities and behavior cannot possibly achieve my favor simply by performance of sacrifices, severe austerities, or mystic yoga. But I always remain equipoised in the heart of one who is also equipoised in all circumstances. Lord Vishnu was very pleased with Maharaj Pṛthu's good character and behavior and offered him a benediction. The Lord openly says that performing great sacrifices or undergoing the austerities of mystic yoga practice cannot satisfy him. But he is pleased only by elevated character and behavior. But these cannot develop unless one becomes a pure devotee of the Lord. And Krishna also says that one who's a devotee, he has all the divine qualities. In Bhagavad Gita, he enlists all the divine qualities and he tells Arjuna, oh, don't worry, you have all these qualities. So Krishna wants to see these very good qualities in his devotee. And that's what pleases him. He's openly saying what pleases him. He's not saying, oh, you perform big yajna and sacrifices, and that's what's going to please me. No. And he's also not saying that you go and get the Ashtasiddhis or do some meditation process. No. How to please Krishna? Krishna himself says in Bhagavad Gita that Bhaktya Mama Abhijanati. By devotion, you can know me. When Krishna is pleased with someone, he reveals himself. Yeah? But these are so anyone who has developed unalloyed, unflinching devotional service unto the Lord develops his original good qualities as spirit soul. So we are all souls. We all have these good divine qualities, the qualities of the soul. We all have it. It's just now only covered up, just contaminated. The spirit soul, as part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, has all the good qualities of the Lord. So it's not that only, oh, I have this qualities of the soul, or I have the good qualities of the Lord, and others don't. No, each of us have it. We simply are covered by this body conception of life. Each of us, every soul has these uh, divine qualities. When the spirit soul is contaminated by the material modes of nature, one is considered good or bad with reference to the material qualities. But when one is transcendental to all material qualities, all the good qualities come up. These qualities of a devotee, 26 in number, are listed as follows. Kind to everyone, does not quarrel with anyone, fixed in the absolute truth, equal to everyone, faultless, charitable, mild, clean, simple, benevolent, peaceful, completely attached to Krishna, has no material hankering, meek, steady, self-controlled, does not eat more than required, sane, respectful, humble, grave, compassionate, friendly, poetic, expert, silent. So here silent doesn't mean that he doesn't talk, but it means that he speaks about Krishna. The Lord is satisfied by development of the transcendental qualities of the living entity and not by artificial performance of sacrifices and mystic yoga. In other words, unless one is fully qualified to become a pure devotee of the Lord, one cannot expect to be liberated from material entanglement. So Krishna wants to see us develop these divine qualities, these good qualities. And by hearing and by chanting, automatically these qualities will develop. Or sometimes you also have to work at it because, yeah, both ways. We work to try to develop these qualities, and also when we're hearing and chanting very well, they will develop. Then one may say, oh, but I'm not a pure devotee, and only if I get pure devotee, I cannot expect to liberate it from material entanglement. What to do? We take shelter of the pure devotees. We take shelter of Srila Prabhupada. Pray to them. Take us back home, back to Godhead. Maitreya Vachan.
मैत्रेय उवाच
Sa itam loka guruna.
स इत्थं लोकगुरुणा
Vishvakshenena Vishvajit.
विश्वसेनेन विश्वजीत्
Anushasita Adesham.
अनुशासित आदेशं
Shirasa Jag Rahe Hare.
शिरसा जग्रहे हरे.
The great Saint Maitreya continued, my dear Vidar, in this way Mahārāja Pṛthu, the conqueror of the entire world, accepted the instructions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead on his head. One should accept the instructions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead by bowing down at the lotus feet of the Lord. This means that anything spoken by the Personality of Godhead should be taken as it is with great care and attention and with great respect. So Pṛthu Mahārāja here is being the example of how we should receive the instructions of the Lord. The Lord is speaking to each and every one of us in the Bhagavad Gita. His instructions are there for all of us. And Pṛthu Mahārāja is showing how we can receive these instructions humbly, submissively. It is not our business to amend the words of the Supreme Personality of Godhead or make additions or alterations, as it has become a custom for many so-called scholars and swamis who comment on the words of Bhagavad Gita. Here, the practical example of how to accept the instruction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is shown by Pṛthu Mahārāja. This is the way to receive knowledge through the parampara system. So, if we think, oh no, Krishna should have said like this, or Krishna made a mistake here, he should have said this, then we are trying to say that we are better than God. We can't do such things. We simply receive the instructions as it is spoken by Krishna. As Pṛthu Mahārāja is receiving them. Sparshantam padayo premna.
स्पर्शन्तं पादयो प्रेम्णा
Vriditam svena karmana.
विधृतं स्वेन कर्मणा
Tata kratum parishvajya.
यथा कृतं परिक्ष्वज्य
Vidvesham visasarjaha.
विद्वेषं विससर्जः.
As King Indra was standing by, he became ashamed of his own activities and fell down before King Pṛthu to touch his lotus feet. But Pṛthu Maharaj immediately embraced him in great ecstasy and gave up all envy against him for his having stolen the horse meant for the sacrifice. So here again, Pṛthu Mahārāja is being the example. So if somebody, Indra wronged him, Pṛthu Mahārāja had no fault on his part. Indra was trying to spoil the sacrifice, yet Pṛthu Mahārāja is completely forgiven him on the words of Brahmaji, on the words of Lord Viṣṇu, from the heart, not that he has something in the heart. No, there's no envy against him. There's no anger against him. There are many cases in which a person becomes an offender to the lotus feet of a Vaishnava and later becomes repentant. Here also we find that although the king of heaven, Indra, was so powerful that he accompanied Lord Viṣṇu, he felt himself a great offender for stealing Pṛthu Mahārāja's horse that was meant for sacrifice. An offender at the lotus feet of a Vaishnava is never excused by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. There are many instances illustrating this fact. Ambarish Maharaj was offended by the Vasa Muni, a great sage and mystic yogi, and Durvasa also had to fall down at the lotus feet of Ambarish Maharaj. Indra decided to fall down at the lotus feet of King Pṛthu, but the king was so magnanimous, a Vaishnava, that he did not want Maharaj Indra to fall down at his feet. Instead, King Pṛthu immediately picked him up and embraced him, and both of them forgot all the past incidents. Both King Indra and Maharaj Pṛthu were envious and angry with each other. But since both of them were Vaishnavas or servants of Lord Viṣṇu, it was their duty to adjust the cause of their envy. This is also a first-class example of cooperative behavior between Vaishnavas. So Prabhupada is pointing out, although there was envy and anger between both of them, but because Lord Viṣṇu wanted them to be peaceful, Brahmaji wanted them to be peaceful, so they let go of their own egos and they again became peaceful. In the present days, however, because people are not Vaishnavas, they fight perpetually among one another and are vanquished without finishing the mission of human life. There is a great need to propagate the Krishna consciousness movement in the world, so that even though people sometimes become angry and malicious toward one another because of their being Krishna conscious, such rivalry, competition, and envy can be adjusted without difficulty. So Prabhupada is pointing out the importance of giving up envy and anger and to focus on our goal of human life, because we get so carried away we get so consumed by our anger, that it may take years and years, we may be into it without realizing how time is passing us by. Bhagavan atha Vishwatma
Bhagwan atha Vishwa Atma
Pṛthu no paratartha hanaha
Pṛthunu Upahat Arhana
samyoja sammojihanaya bhaktya
Sammujihanaya Bhaktya
grihita charanambujaha.
Grahita Charana Ambujaha.
King Pṛthu abundantly worshipped the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who was so merciful to him. While worshipping the lotus feet of the Lord, Pṛthu Maharaj gradually increased his ecstasy in devotional service. When various ecstasies appear in the body of a devotee, it is to be understood that his devotional service has become perfect. There are many types of transcendental ecstasies in the form of crying, laughing, perspiring, falling down, and crying like a madman. All these symptoms are sometimes visible on the body of a devotee. Now, someone may say, what? You mean I have to engage in devotional service and the perfection is that I should be crying like a madman? I should fall down? People will really call me mad. Then what's going to happen? But we have to understand that these ecstasies are so spiritual. It's nothing material. If we hear the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya, we can see that how he was always in this ecstasies, especially his later pastimes, Caitaniya Caritamita. Very graphically, some of these ecstasies are described. They are called Ashtasattvika Vikar, which means 8 kinds of transcendental transformations. They are never to be imitated. But when a devotee actually becomes perfect, these symptoms are visible on his body. Because this is like a very, very high platform of spirituality. The bhava is already there for Krishna, the emotion is there. And that's why these ecstasies are there, the love is there. So some people try to imitate such things just to get some adoration, worship from others. But these ecstasies should not be imitated. The Lord is Bhaktavatsal, which means that he's inclined toward his pure devotee Bhakta. Therefore, the transcendental ecstatic transaction between the Supreme Lord and his devotee is never like the activities of this material world. Yeah, that's something, we are not able to understand. Our dealings with the material world are completely on the material platform. But our relationship with Krishna is spiritual. It is not and nothing like any of our material relationships. It is a relationship based on pure love. It's love, not lust. And so, because it's based in love, it brings the highest happiness, brings the complete joy to the heart. Where the heart is just so soft with this love and is bursting with joy, ecstatic and transcendental. Prasthana bhimukho api ena. Anugraha vilambita. Pashyan padmapala shakshu. Na pratashte surit satam. The Lord was just about to leave, but because he was so greatly inclined toward the behavior of King Pṛthu, he did not depart. Seeing the behavior of Mahārāja Pṛthu with his lotus eyes, he was detained because he is always the well-wisher of his devotees. Here the words Surit Satam are very significant. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is always very inclined toward his devotee and is always thinking of the devotee's well-being. This is not partiality. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, the Lord is equal to everyone, samo aham sarva bhuteshu. But to one who particularly engage in his service, he is very much inclined. It's because some people may say, oh, God is partial, Krishna is partial to the devotees. That's not fair. But Krishna says, I'm equal to everyone. But one who is a friend is in me, and I'm also a friend in him. It's like a parent. Parent loves all the children, but there may be one child particular who wants to always be with the parent. And so automatically the parent also will be more with that child. It's just automatic. It's not that he does not love the other children. He loves all of them equally. But one child wants to spend more time with the parent, so the parent spends more time with him. So in other place, the Lord says that a devotee always exists in his heart, and he also exists always in the heart of the devotee. This is the loving relationship between Krishna and the devotee. Krishna is not saying only that, oh, you keep me in your heart. No, Krishna is saying, as the devotee is keeping me in his heart, I also keep my devotee in my heart. Krishna thus says, my heart is not with me, my heart is with my devotees. Says that the special inclination of the Supreme Personality of Godhead for his pure devotee is not unnatural, nor is it partiality. For example, sometimes a father has several children, but he has special affection for one child who's very much inclined toward him. This is explained in Bhagavad Gita 10:10. Tesham satata yuktanam vachatam priti purvakam tadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam apayanti te. Those who constantly engage in the devotional service of the Lord in love and affection are directly in contact with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, sitting as the Super Soul in everyone's heart. The Lord is not far away from the devotee. He is always in everyone's heart, but only the devotee can realize the Lord's presence, and thus he is directly connected and he takes instruction from the Lord at every moment. So we see it's a reciprocation. It's a loving relationship, a reciprocation of love. The devotee is loving Krishna and Krishna loves the devotee. It's not one-sided. In fact, Krishna loves us so much. That's the reason he's come. He is as the super soul in our heart. He never leaves us even for a moment. And that he loves, that's his love. No matter which kind of body we are in. He does not say, oh, you are in such a fallen body, I will not come and sit with you in that body. No, no matter what, where we are, he's always with us as the Paramatma. Therefore, there is no chance of a devotee's being in error, nor is there any partiality on the part of the Lord for his pure devotees. Prabhupada also would give an example in this regard that a mother, she loves all the children, but she will have special love for her own child. It's natural. You can't tell the mother, hey, why you are not giving equal love to others. She loves all children, but she'll still have that special love for her own child. That's the special relationship. This is what relationships are about. Similarly, the devotee and Krishna, they have this special relationship. So it's a very natural emotion. Are there any questions or comments? Does anyone want to share anything for we are reading? Add something? No? So let's stop here for today. This verse is a little longer. Thank you so much for listening in and joining in. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaur Bhaktavinda ki jai. Hare